Hey there, chart friends. Lamont here from Chart Guys, checking in on the electric vehicle and wind sectors. Okay, so originally what I had been anticipating, well, let's start with price action on the day. Could not get much trading done today, even though a million alerts were going off. I was at the doctor's office in the morning. Sometimes you miss things. Okay, so broke the key daily support here of 407.38, but we are still, in the proximity, right? We're still within proximity of these key supports here. So, we'll see. Tesla was positioned better. It's positioned well for any kind of market bounce. It's certainly not like a QQQ day where QQQ just kind of pretty much a gap and go meltdown. Tesla, I guess it was a gap and go technically, but but it wasn't as severe. So what I had been anticipating earlier was the potential for us to just start basing here and going sideways if the market were to remain strong. And I guess that's still kind of on the table because the markets had a really weak day today, and you could still say that we held this area. That being said, now that we've pulled back test support so soon after bouncing there, I don't love it as much. But if we Tesla is positioned well for any kind of market bounce, we'll say that. And if we were to see more downside, then we're just watching this weekly EQ again, and these levels come back into play. And ideally, we can get daily oversold conditions down there. And I believe it would be, yes, it would just be getting daily oversold should we get down there again. And so if we can get daily oversold conditions down there near those supports, I think I would personally be looking to get rather aggressive, especially if we could run straight down there. Like 2 days, just waterfall down that. I think that'd be not bad for a little bounce play, which could potentially materialize into a longer hold. Let's check out the hourly trend. Hourly trend is obviously bearish. I believe yesterday I was highlighting the potential for a channel to hold. I thought I had a channel here. Okay, well, I was just looking for the potential of this channel to hold going into today. And as you can see in after hours, well, in pre-market I should say, we confirmed an hourly downtrend and then back tested the channel support and then broke to more hourly lower lows. So obviously we did not hold that channel, especially with the market weakness. Pretty tall order. So now let's see, for a little day trade on the day tomorrow, bears can be scouting for an hourly lower high under 415.21. So if we can get 5-minute overbought conditions somewhere up there straight from here, not a bad place to be scouting. Not a bad place to be scouting for that hourly lower high. I see there's a bunch of tops here too, so maybe we'll even want to start a bit lower, especially with the 5-minute RSI already getting close. And obviously, again, this would change on tomorrow's open, right? All of these trade setups that I highlight the day before, they're always dependent on how it opens, right? It's always based on, the market's always giving you more information. So I think basically my considerations are always resistance and support and RSI. That's pretty much my primary considerations: price action and extension based on relative strength. So yeah, top fishing plays are on deck tomorrow for bears, and if the bulls can push up into that range straight from here, then that will be enough range to look for a potential hourly higher low as well. So something for everybody if the bulls show up first thing tomorrow. Felt long. NEO, NIO. Oh, so that shook out. These were the alerts that I got today. Oh, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, this was a good trade setup, but ideally what would have happened, it could have been better because of 5-minute oversold conditions, right? Like, I see this bounce here for sure, this little tiny little bear flag bounce for sure cooled off 5-minute RSI to the point where you didn't want to be scaling in at the top of this range, right? So if you, I mean, it was a good trade, obviously, if you gave a little bit of wiggle room under this last fill, right? I like to use the white zone as my 3 fills. So even with as an estimate from that day, even with the RSI cooling on the way down, it was not a bad setup. But I just want to say that it should not have have played out like this, or rather we should have been looking lower. So because we know that our thesis is this hourly higher low attempt, that printed today, and we wanted to potentially use the channel support, previous resistance, now potentially support. We also wanted to be doing our shopping in 5-minute oversold conditions. So as you can see here, when price came down the first time, the 5-minute would not have been oversold yet, right here, this candle. So we would have wanted to start scaling down here. So this is a situation where, the setup planned the trade out the night before, and then you look at the new conditions in the morning, and we would have moved our box down a little bit so that we could be scaling in, blow that up so you can see where price touches it. It would be this candle. Right? If we were to enter as soon as RSI hit 30, it would be this candle right here. Oops. Right, so it breaks under that 30 line. Now we're interested. This should have been the zone of interest, and then ideally bring that trade back, I guess. And let's see. Okay. Yeah, so it would have been, instead of being up there, it would have looked like this instead. Ish. And then it would have been 2 fills and much further away from the stop. I never really want this last fill. this last fill that's like right by the stop loss. I never really want it. It's like a more of a stop hunt fill, and so typically you want to give it a bit more wiggle room, because remember, if this fill is a stop hunt, then it could like wick down on you. So I just give it a little bit of wiggle room, and then this trade we would just be looking for a daily lower high. So if I had been at the desk, could have updated it, but I wasn't even trading the AM session, unfortunately. But dang, that was a really good one. Doing all these, I feel like I've only taken 2 of these trades that that I've been highlighting every day. I mean, they were good, but I'm missing a lot of opportunity just by being busy. But okay, so NEO, what are we looking out for tomorrow? All right, so bulls have set this hourly higher low, but they've also set a lower high and another higher low in after hours. So ideally, they'll get a strong start tomorrow, and then just consider it one leg even. So if the bulls were to start strong tomorrow, I would consider anything over 26.51 to be another hourly higher low, and that's really the only play that I like in the interim. So we don't know where we top out yet, but whenever we do top out, when we pull back, we'll be looking for hourly higher lows over 26.51, ideally in 5-minute oversold conditions, just like we did over here in that trade. And just like this one, for example, we're looking for a daily higher low there. In hourly oversold conditions, it's the same thing. We're looking for an hourly higher low here in 5-minute oversold conditions. Okay. NKLA. All right, so I think yesterday we were talking about the potential of an EQ to play out, and I, was not terribly ambitious. I mean, I was not terribly optimistic for it, and for sure now it certainly looks less likely. I think Tim, one of our members, calls these the H patterns. A little dead cat bounces. Anyway, so daily downtrend continuing right now, but there's not been a lot of follow through on this breakdown. So currently still a double bottom on the hourly time frame. Looks really weak. On the hourly time frame, this still looks like a little bear flag. Super weak bounce, not declining volume on the way up, and then and all that selling at the end of the day. This looks, NKLA looks super weak. So if anything, I would really only be looking out for potential bearish plays, top fishing off of this level here, 2210. I can't help but notice this low, this 4-hour low as well. So if we're looking for an hourly lower high, there's no volume there. Okay, so yeah, we would just be looking for a 4-hour lower high or an hourly lower high, and ideally we'll get 5 or 15-minute overbought conditions. Really, it's just these levels. But we'll see. Something like this, maybe. Just a really loose, rough idea. not high conviction trade, but something looks like on the hourly time frame. I think that's pretty reasonable. Yeah, so we just want to make sure that 15-minute RSI is on our back if we are looking for that 4-hour lower high to be set, which we can be looking for. WKHS, let's check it out. Okay, so WKHS, we are ideally trying to get these daily oversold conditions down near these support levels. And just like before, we want daily oversold conditions. This last fit will be a bit of a stop hunt because everybody's looking at this low, right, as a key level low. And if that breaks, yeah, we could. There's the potential to see downside, right? But if we are just waterfalling down into that, it's more likely to be a stop hunt, right? Stop hunts are super common. That's probably been one of the best adjustments that I've made to my trading, is including one fill where I think all the stops would be, and then just giving it wiggle room. And yeah, you just have to. I guess position sizing is because you also want to consider slippage. But as a general idea, general rule of thumb, if you are the type of trader who scales into these plays, then typically you want to include one scale where the stop hunt might be. So let's see. On the hourly time frame, hide this for now. That's just a potential trade. I mean, Bulls will take it. Bulls will take it. Bulls will take it. It's not a terrible day by any means. Yes, we have this gap down, but we closed the gap and potential it is an indecision doji, and hourly time frame held this little double bottom going into the end of the day. Bulls are not positioned so poorly. If the market should show some signs of strength tomorrow, but overall, obviously the daily chart is very weak, and I really just care about this trade. I'm not really looking to get any. Nothing else looks terribly interesting to me about WKHS except for that trade. NEE. Okay, so NEE still just sideways range today. Sideways ranging. I did not quite get into our potential buy zone if we were to make another play at it. Even we already, if you were in on this play when it was highlighted, and but pretty sure I should say it. If not, I'll say it now. You always want to take some profit, right, to de-risk, especially if you're looking for another play down here. Yeah. So let's see how that shook out. I've given you an opportunity. You would have had to take profit like right away. But knowing that there are a couple of tops here and that the hourly was extended, I think it would have been terrible. Either way, that position, what we look like at the end of the day. Not a great look at the end of the day, but as long as we're range bound, we're feeling okay. So now that the hourly, has seen a little bit of bounce here, we'll just adjust these levels. Just want to make sure we're doing our shopping in hourly oversold conditions. So maybe something like that. It's going to come up a little bit if price comes. Something like that now is our new potential re-entry into NEE. I'm just watching this potential flag, right? It's just sideways. I guess I should call it a pennant. This sideways consolidation over previous resistance, not a bad look. If the position very well for bounce, if the market can get strong, show some strength tomorrow. So all about tech earnings tomorrow, and I believe most people report after hours. Double check me on that. Double check that for me. Double check that on me. Whatever. You know what I'm saying. Double check that information. Okay, that about wraps it up, I think. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you all soon.